Commentary highlights of the final of the tournament played in Halle. Alexander Bublik v Daniil Medvedev. So first game of the match, Alexander Bublik serving 15-30. Alexander Bublik with a serve with a bit on it, and it's a backhand return from Daniil Medvedev to the left, but then Alexander Bublik with a backhand drop shot to the left, and then Daniil Medvedev onto it with a forehand, and Alexander Bublik at the net with a forehand, drop volley to the right, then Daniil Medvedev turns it, and Alexander Bublik at the net with a forehand volley to the left after that, and it's a winner. So 30-all. So 30-40 and a break point for Daniil Medvedev. And Alexander Bublik with a serve and Daniil Medvedev for one return. Then Alexander Bublik with a forehand drop shot to the right with a bit on it, and it's a winner to save break point. So 1-all on serve in the first set. Alexander Bublik serving 15 love, and Alexander Bublik with a serve. And then Daniil Medvedev returns, and Alexander Bublik again strikes a forehand to the right with a bit on it. Then Daniil Medvedev forehand turns left, and Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to left with a bit on it. Daniil Medvedev backhand turn, Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to right, a bit on it. And then Daniil Medvedev forehand slice return. Then further forward, Alexander Bublik then strikes a forehand to the right with a bit on it, and it's a winner. So Daniil Medvedev serving on serve in the first set, love 15, and Daniil Medvedev with a serve to the centre, and then Alexander Bublik strikes a forehand return to the left, on it. Daniil Medvedev turns it. Alexander Bublik backhand drop shot and Daniil Medvedev onto it with a forehand to the right, and it's a winner. So Daniil Medvedev serving, still on serve in the first set, 40-30, and Daniil Medvedev with a serve bit on it, but then Alexander Bublik with a backhand short angle return set from Daniil Medvedev, strikes a backhand to the left with a bit on it, and it's a winner to hold that service game. 3-all on serve in the first set. Alexander Bublik serving, love 30, and Alexander Bublik with a serve on it. Daniil Medvedev turns it just over it, and Alexander Bublik further forward, backhand drop shots to right. Daniil Medvedev onto it, forehand slice shot, but then Alexander Bublik at the net with a forehand volley, and it's a winner. 30-all. Alexander Bublik serve on it. Daniil Medvedev turns, and Alexander Bublik with a forehand to the left. Daniil Medvedev backhand to the centre, and Alexander Bublik then forehand bit on it. Daniil Medvedev forehand turn, and Alexander Bublik strikes a backhand to the left, bit on it. Daniil Medvedev returns, and Alexander Bublik then with a forehand drop shot to the left, bit on that. Daniil Medvedev with a returns it, and then Alexander Bublik shot. Daniil Medvedev turns it, but out in there, Alexander Bublik with a volley shot to the right from just by the net, and it's a winner. So still on serve in the first set rather. Daniil Medvedev serving 4-3. Alexander Bublik on serve in the first set. Daniil Medvedev serving, love 15. Daniil Medvedev central serve beyond it. Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to the right. Daniil Medvedev backhand slice turn to the left. And Alexander Bublik strikes a forehand to the right, and it's a winner. Love 40, 3 break points for Alexander Bublik. Daniil Medvedev with a central serve beyond it. Alexander Bublik forehand. Block return central beyond it. Daniil Medvedev for a shot. And Alexander Bublik on the next shot with a backhand struck to the left with a bit on it, and it's a winner for a break in the first set. Alexander Bublik 5-3 with a break and serving, and it's 40 love and 3 set points for Alexander Bublik to potentially have a match at 1 set serve. Alexander Bublik central serve, and it's an ace, and that's game and first set. Alexander Bublik 6-3. Start of the match, start of the commentary highlights, final of the Halle tournament rather, not the Berlin one. So second set, Daniil Medvedev serving. Daniil Medvedev central serve. Alexander Bublik returns it. Daniil Medvedev forward with backhand drive volley to right. And Alexander Bublik returns it with a backhand shot, and Daniil Medvedev bottoming that with a forehand volley centre. Alexander Bublik returns with forehand to left, and Daniil Medvedev shot. Then Alexander Bublik. Then a bit after a backhand return centre, and Daniil Medvedev bit of forehand to it, but Alexander Bublik bit on the backhand shot to the centre. So love 15. Daniil Medvedev a wide serve. Alexander Bublik backhand block centre right, and Daniil Medvedev further forward strikes a forehand to the right, and it's a winner. 30-15. Daniil Medvedev serves central bill. Alexander Bublik turns, and Daniil Medvedev forehand drop shot to the right, and it's a winner. So Alexander Bublik serving 30-all, and Alexander Bublik with a serve to central bill. Daniil Medvedev backhand block return to the right, and Alexander Bublik strikes a forehand to the left with a bit on it, and it's a winner. So 1-all on serve. Daniil Medvedev serving in this second set, 15-30, and Daniil Medvedev with a wide serve. Alexander Bublik backhand return, then forehand to forehand, and Daniil Medvedev strikes forehand to the left, just hits the net. 15-40, 2 break points for Alexander Bublik. Daniil Medvedev central serve, and it's an ace to save 1 break point for Daniil Medvedev. Another break point for Alexander Bublik in the second set. Daniil Medvedev with a serve and another ace to save another break point. Daniil Medvedev serve, and then forehand, and Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to the right, just hits the net, and Daniil Medvedev holds serve, having saved 2 break points. Alexander Bublik serving on serve in the second set, 15-love, and Alexander Bublik with a serve and then backhand to backhand. Then Daniil Medvedev strikes a backhand to the left for a bit on it, and then Alexander Bublik with a bit of forehand on ball, but a bit on the backhand strokes left from Daniil Medvedev. 40-15. Daniil Medvedev central boxer, Alexander Bublik one box turn, then Daniil Medvedev strikes one to right. Alexander Bublik strikes a backhand return to right bit, and Daniil Medvedev forehand returns to left, and Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to right with a bit on it, and then Daniil Medvedev's forehand slice return after that is out. And still on serve in the second set, Alexander Bublik serving 40-15, and Alexander Bublik with a central serve bit on it, and backhand serve from Daniil Medvedev, and backhand slice from Alexander Bublik to right, and Daniil Medvedev backhand to left, and Alexander Bublik backhand drop shot to left, and Daniil Medvedev onto it with forehand to left, and Alexander Bublik returns it, but then Daniil Medvedev at net with a bit of a short angle to the right, overhead smash from just by the net, and it's a winner. So Alexander Bublik with a point to potentially hold this service game. Alexander Bublik with wide serve, Daniil Medvedev backhand block turn, further forward Alexander Bublik with a forehand drive volley to right, and Daniil Medvedev return strike and a backhand to the right, but then Alexander Bublik at net with a forehand drop volley short angle to left from just by net, and it's a winner to hold that service game. So Daniil Medvedev with a point to potentially hold serve. 3-all on serve in the second set, and Daniil Medvedev with a serve and then backhand to backhand. Then Alexander Bublik further forward, backhand side shot to left, and Daniil Medvedev forehand return, and Alexander Bublik with a backhand drop volley to the right, and it's a winner. Daniil Medvedev central serve, bit on it, but Alexander Bublik with backhand return to the centre, and Daniil Medvedev forehand to the right, and Alexander Bublik forehand to right. Daniil Medvedev strikes a backhand to the right bit, Alexander Bublik forehand side turn to centre, and Daniil Medvedev then strikes a forehand to right bit on it, and Alexander Bublik with forehand return to the right bit on it. And then Daniil Medvedev with a backhand to left after that, just out. Daniil Medvedev with a serve and then backhand to backhand. Daniil Medvedev's backhand to the right with a bit on it, and it's a winner to hold that service game. So Alexander Bublik serving 15-love, and Alexander Bublik with a central serve bit on it. Daniil Medvedev turns and forehand drop shots left from Alexander Bublik. Daniil Medvedev onto it with backhand shot to right, but then Alexander Bublik with a backhand volley shot to the centre, and it's a winner. So Daniil Medvedev serving 4-all on serve in the second set, 15-love, and Daniil Medvedev with a central serve, and Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to left bit on it. Daniil Medvedev backhand turn and third forward. Alexander Bublik strikes a forehand to the right with a bit on it, and it's a winner. 40-15. Daniil Medvedev central serve on it. Alexander Bublik backhand block return. Daniil Medvedev third forward backhand drive volley to the right, and it's a winner to hold that service game. So Alexander Bublik serving, love 15, and Alexander Bublik with a serve to central bit on Daniil Medvedev forehand return. Alexander Bublik strikes back onto the right bit on it. Daniil Medvedev sends Alexander Bublik strikes the forehand to the right bit on it. Daniil Medvedev bit back onto it, but a bit on the forehand struck to the right from Alexander Bublik. 30 Alexander Bublik wide serve, and Daniil Medvedev strikes a forehand return a bit on it to the left, and it's a forehand return winner ace. Break point and set point for Daniil Medvedev. Alexander Bublik central serve a bit on it. Forehand block return to the left from Daniil Medvedev bit on it. And then Alexander Bublik strikes forehand to right. And Daniil Medvedev backhand to left. And Alexander Bublik strikes a backhand to right. Daniil Medvedev returns centre. And Alexander Bublik with a forehand drop shot to right with a bit on it. And it's a winner to save set point. Alexander Bublik centre of the box serve. Daniil Medvedev backhand return. And backhand to right from Alexander Bublik. And then Daniil Medvedev backhand just hits the net. And Alexander Bublik having saved set point. Then just after that, hold serve. So still on serve in the second set. 15 love, Daniil Medvedev serving. Daniil Medvedev will centre wide serve and then backhand to backhand. And Alexander Bublik backhand to the right. Daniil Medvedev backhand to centre. And Alexander Bublik strikes a forehand to the left with a bit on it. And it's a winner. 15-0. Daniil Medvedev wide serve bit on it. Alexander Bublik with a forehand shot return. And Daniil Medvedev forehand drive volley to the right with a bit on it. And it's a winner. 40-30. Daniil Medvedev wide serve bit on it. Alexander Bublik bit of backhand ball, but a bit on that wide serve from Daniil Medvedev, and Medvedev holds that service game. So Alexander Bublik serving 15 love, and Alexander Bublik with a serve wide serve. Daniil bit on it. Daniil Medvedev turns in backhand drop shot to the right from Alexander Bublik, and it's a winner. Bit on that drop shot to the right from Alexander Bublik on that point. 40-15. Alexander Bublik wide serve on it. Daniil Medvedev turns in that net. Alexander Bublik backhand volley to the left, but then Daniil Medvedev onto it. Strikes a backhand to the left, just out. So the second set is in a tie break then. So tie break in the second set of this one. Daniil Medvedev central serve bit on it. Alexander Bublik serve bit on it. Daniil Medvedev shot on Alexander Bublik, then strikes a backhand to the right with a bit on it. Daniil Medvedev forehand turns left, and Alexander Bublik then over forehand drop shots left. Daniil Medvedev onto it, strikes a backhand to the right, and it's a winner. Alexander Bublik serving next point. Alexander Bublik 5-4 in the tie break. Alexander Bublik was Daniil Medvedev turns a backhand structure right bit on it from Alexander Bublik. Daniil Medvedev backhand turn and by net. Alexander Bublik with forehand drop right to the left, and it's a winner. 2 match points to potentially win the tournament in Halle for Alexander Bublik, and Alexander Bublik with a wide serve. Daniil Medvedev forehand turn, and it's just out. Game, set and match. Alexander Bublik by 2 sets to love, 6-3, 7-6, and Alexander Bublik wins the tournament in Halle.